I want to believe that the stream is live. Um, Good evening to everyone. Welcome to Caribbean Currency Podcast, weekly talk show where we have people on. Make sure you subscribe, hit your notification button. We have people on from time to time to discuss the issues of the Virgin Islands, the issues in our community, home and abroad. And we're very honored and excited to have one of the more stronger voices in a revolutionary time in the Virgin Islands. We need a lot of people to speak up for us and lead the charge and, just take the criticism along with the accolades to help see a better future for us. Along with my co-host Kyle and our co-host Sony, you ain't seen on the screen right now. We'd like to welcome Miss Karen Dickenson.
Good night. Thank you, guys. I want to thank you for having me here this evening. I want to say big good night to Virgin Islanders near and far. Those who are in the sound of my voice, I want to say thank you, Redman, and thank you to your team for this opportunity to speak about our home, the Virgin Islands, who I am, what I do, and the reason I do it. Thank you.
Well, Miss Karen, you know, me and you have had several conversations offline before we even get to this, and just discussing at length the issues in Virgin Island and stuff like that. But before we even get into that, a lot of people just see you as this firebrand, and they hear your voice and they're recognizable, and it's one of those unique voices that forceful and echo through time that make you ask you like, I wonder if this is how Queen Mary had sung. If she was this forceful and she had known exactly what it is she was targeting. But I know it's more to you than that, right? And there's a lot more to you on either side of the fence than that. And I would love for you to kind of just elaborate a little bit about yourself, who you are, and before we move forward, just to so people could see and know, this is a businesswoman in the community, a woman have been doing it for several years and have the same concern. She never stopped blazing her fire.
Yes. So thank you. Thank you again. I've been gone for a long time from home. I lived in the DC area and I work in the field of trauma and crisis, mental health, reentry citizen, people with challenges. I've worked in the financial aid background at university and stuff. But I think my niche is with people that have challenge. I just love to see those who everyone neglect and find that bright shining star in them and bring them back to the surface. And so I am the founder and president of the Collective Collaboration. It is the best mental health program in the Virgin Islands. I say that hands down. And I've been doing this for the last 4 years, impacting individual and empowering our community. You see, Redman and the audience, a sick if we have sick people, we have sick communities. And when I got home, when I left, I didn't know about homelessness here in the Virgin Islands because we never saw that. We would offer somebody a couch or a sheet on the ground, but give them that respect so that when they rose in the morning, they came out of a door. And we were a community that cared. I came back home and I saw the plight of homelessness here in the Virgin Islands like I've never seen before. My first experience with homelessness was in DC. And so I just placed myself deep in this because I remember my dad always saying to me, because they call me Baba, Baba, it's two things people need, respect and a covering. That's all people need and they will find their way. And so I took on the bull by the horn and I started to do for my people because I know a lot of them and we come from a small niche community where a lot of these individuals didn't start the race this way. But who goes without challenge? You put your hand up. And when I saw my childhood friend and one of my daughter's classmates, I said, no. I came home with a little bag I was working in Puerto Rico at the time, and I came home with a little bag. Home is home. I didn't need to bring anything. And I started out the back of two rental car, my daughter and I. First, we were doing with some friends. And I just wanted to find out what the landscape looked like. Let me put boots on the ground because trying to receive data and information, no one had it. So I created my own data sheet and we just start to comb the whole island. But if you're home, people know you. So the challenge I had in the States with gaining trust, that wasn't the challenge here. And we opened that center June 9th, 2019, with a crowd. And I have been there since. I run this facility out my pocket and the love of the community because I'm telling you guys, challenge with the government is one thing. I didn't come home to look for help from the government. I came home so we could work together, so we can show the United States how we can clean up the homelessness and reduce the mental health for populations like us. And it didn't happen. And it didn't stop me because that's not why I came home. I came home on a mission. And it was my obligation to come back home to right some of the wrong, to have impact in a community that is my foundation, that have made us who we are. And back then we didn't have monies. We had each other. We had national pride. We had respect. And so when I came home and I see there's the elderly who having challenge and the young who's having challenge, I'm saying the challenge is homelessness and no one care. I'm not going to hold water in my mouth, Redman and the audience. No one cares. And so as I continued to try to do what I do, I said, you know what, Karen, that's not what you're here for. You're here for the people. As I try to continue to have meeting, to bridge gap, to leverage, and it wasn't happening. And I just forgot about them and I just focus on my people. Let me tell you guys, I don't like what I do. I love what I do. I love the people that I serve because I have seen the impact that I've had on them. And when I step, they step. And what is available that is wonderful for them to improve their life, I provide it for them. I don't ask anybody for anything, i.e. the government, I'm saying, because we're too personalized here in the Virgin Islands and we can't allow things to move forward because we get personal. When individuals from the government is going to say, Karen, you're not a walking, but guess what? You got cool long. I could get what you want, but you got to walk with me. You need to get out of my face. I am not bartering human beings' lives. And if we cannot continue to see the troubles that we have in here in the Virgin Islands because of all that we have going on, to include the lives of human beings, as we're clearly seeing now that it has trickled down to the children, then something is wrong with us. Who we are as a people, who are we becoming as a people? And so my job every day is to make sure that I see that the 150 people I feed on these streets every day is secure. The 25 that I have in my shelter, they're right. And the countless others who come up on a not so regular basis, that when they come, they know that they're right too. We all are human beings, but my people are the visible invisible. We have cleaned the street of Christiansted. I have taken people who have been on the street for 50 years and 30 years and brought them back to a sense of relevance. Right now, we have a client, we're working from home, from homeless to home ownership. And my work is not about just the individual mental health or the home. It is a total wraparound because I want my people to be involved in community as we make that next step to independence, whatever that independence look like, because they all can't go to living the same as you and I do. We
Right.
have to make sure that there's program that in tiers that accommodate each and every one of my family. That's why I don't call them clients. Each one of my family have the living situation that accommodate their needs. And so we're moving forward as we continue because I don't want my people to think they have to live in shelter forever.
Right.
But I don't call it a shelter either. That is their home. And I
Right.
allow them to be responsible to run the day-to-day operation because we have to transition them back into a sense of normalcy and making sure that the ADL skills are intact. The basic communication skills are intact. And so we do all of that within our center. We live as a family because for too long when they were on the street, they had no family. When you come to the collective collaboration, we are a family. That's who
Mm.
we are. And we look out and we care for each other. And
Mm.
so they're the greatest bunch of people, you guys. I would rather not spend my money on nothing else than what I'm doing. I love the people that I serve because most of them, I'm all that they have. And they're all that I have. I have kids, yes, but I've made the way for them. And these individuals depend on me, and I depend on them because
Right.
without them, there would be no me. There
Right.
would be no me. And so the work that I do at the collective collaboration, can we do better? We can always do better. Everyone can always do better. And we're heading in that direction to make sure that these individuals' life are valued and value until their last day. We've had some tragedy as we pass through these times, but we have overcome them as a family and we continue to thrive. I continue to allow my people to be part of community activity because I want them to understand what's going on in the community. I don't want people to use them as pawn just to clean up and just to give them up. No, because
Mm.
they value more than that. And so,
Right.
whatever is available for them to take part in, to open their horizon, to be able to communicate with others, to be in a space that they would not necessarily be in if they weren't at at collective collaboration. That is what brings joy to me. That is what brings joy to me. And as my people continue to grow and continue to transition, nothing else matters to me. Absolutely nothing else but these
Well,
individuals.
well, Miss Karen, and I'm glad you're able to articulate exactly what it is you do because most of the time when I bring up your name, no one is talking or telling me the story about your community advocacy as far as it pertains to the homeless or the downtrodden. And me and Kyle actually, we grew up in a place we are affectionately called a camp, right? And it was a place where people are going to play domino, drink rum, the homeless man them that gather amongst other people in the society who ain't homeless, whether they had done already, them a little small place, wrong person, garden. And that's what part me and Kai were able to see people differently, you know what I mean? Versus being far removed from these people, but living amongst these people and coming and seeing them every day and interacting with them every day, even though they're homeless, even though they're drunks, even though they didn't get their shit together, it helped us to realize that everybody's a human being and everybody gonna go through certain tribulation that don't take away from the fact that they need assistance, they need respect, they need dignity. So hearing you talk about the work that you did when you came back home, for me personally, I appreciate it because I know these individuals or these types of individuals are too well. That community advocacy have led you almost to be the spokesperson for everyone that has a gripe, a grime, a problem with our government as a whole, and particularly this administration as it pertains right now with the school situation in St. Croix.
So let me say this to you guys, and I think I got into this advocacy because of my people. That's the reason why I jumped in deep. I'm gonna
Mm,
tell you why. When I came home here for the last Christmas celebration, I think it was 2019. I met Albert in the village because he knows me personally. I call
mm,
he Albert, he called me Baba. And I said, Albert, I'm looking to come
So,
home to
so
do
not to
this.
cut you off, but when you call him Albert, it's because you know him personally. So it ain't like no type
Right.
of yeah, exactly.
Not
You know him for years.
disrespect.
So
He don't call me
some people
Karen.
look at it and be like, "Oh, she disrespectful," but you guys know each other for years, so you could call
But
him Albert.
what I know you for years or not, that is your name. I'm not a respecter of persons. Let me say this clear to you guys.
Uh-huh.
I can't sit here in the Virgin Island when you colluding to sodomize children. You
Mm-hmm.
have your people suffering, and I supposed to about to call you some respectable title. People, you gotta be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, I saw him in the village. It was reggae night. Graham Smorgan was there. And him and I stood up. He said, "Hey, Baba, what going on?" I said, "There, boy." I said, "What you up to?" He said, "Man, I just there." I said, "Listen, I looking to come home to do this mental health thing and whatever." He said, "Listen, call Elizabeth." I say, "Elizabeth?" He said, "Yeah, Miss Centeno. I know Elizabeth personally because we grew up in a housing community together." All right? And I tried calling, send message. I saw Elizabeth. When I first come home, they send what a guy named the administrator,
I have no idea.
Sanis. They
Sunny.
send Sanis come up to my place. We got movie filmed. I thought I was in Hollywood. They got me filming. Talk to them about how they were going to do the um the comprehensive plan with CBDG. Spoke to the guys for Tetra, because Tetra was the company that
Mm-hmm.
is doing all of this comprehensive writing. Had conversation with them. Come to find out, the one guy that worked with them from Texas, we've been in the same space at different times in Texas because I worked a lot in Texas. And so we have the conversation, went up there, had a meeting with him. I don't tell people the story because it's not like I am behind you guys. I came to you anyway. And so from that year, it took me 2 years to have a meeting with Albert. 2 years. And the meeting didn't last a half an hour. I came back home and I heard Albert on the radio saying, "Oh, I hear they saying that this lady Karen Dickenson trying to get a meeting with me." And I thought it was some white woman. But oh, it's Baba. This is what he said. Good, fine. It is not for me. You see, everybody think this thing is personal. It is not personal. It is for the people. You
Mm-hmm.
serve the people, and your responsibility is to the people. And if I could come all the way to help you guys, that help people in St. Thomas, I've helped people in St. John. We fly people out the island because we don't want the government to be bearing the responsibility of individuals coming to the island. We have to put them in jail. We have to put them in a hospital. It costs us money that we don't have. So it's easier for me to buy you a plane ticket for $200 and send you on your way.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had this conversation, and he was like, "This is my Achilles heel. How you could clean it up, Karen? Baba, how you could clean this up?" He said, "I didn't know you have it here." And Carl said, "You didn't know she have it." Elizabeth said, "You didn't know she have it." And I turned to her and I said, "You got this joke. I hate son is being up to my place and you didn't know that I had it." I find it quite funny because I'm just a stone throw away from government. Oh, anyway, long story short, I pass it. I leave them alone. I went ahead and I requested for the government to lease me 2 buildings, derelict building. The building are awful. We're going to lease them, clean them up at our expense. We're going to fix them up. Oh, that's a run around too, because you're not supposed to speak out on the government. You're not supposed to speak out about issues that's affecting the community. You're not supposed to call Albert Albert. But
Mm-hmm.
guess what? I didn't come here begging you guys for anything. Nothing that is requested. It's not for Karen. It's for the people. And you're there serving the people. So I don't know where people get this idea that you're in government and somebody have to beg you. No, that's not how it goes. You work to the for the to the pleasure of the people. And so we have this way, not just in the Virgin Islands, in the Caribbean, that we have taught our people that when people are in power, you have to respect them. But really, oh no, that's not how it is. The people are there because you put them there and they need to respect the constituents. And
Right.
so I take on this fight for my people, for my 2 grandchildren, and for all of those who don't have a voice.
Mm.
Because this is not the Virgin Island grew up in. And what grapples me every night is the thought of me getting up one day and not having a place to call my own and call my home. And so if majority of us don't have that feeling, then something is wrong. Because I know most of us living on the mainland, we would rather be home. We
Mm.
would rather be home where we can enjoy family, friend, and the atmosphere where we grew up and the foundation that started us to allow us to go out in the world and provide so much to others because we can't come home because our people don't see the value of us. And if you're not part of the cabal, and if you're not part of the corruption, and if you speak too much, then nobody watch you. I don't want them watch me because I don't want to watch them.
Mm.
I know many don't like me, and it's okay because I don't like many either.
Right.
But I am going to be damned if I live in this community and I see wrong, and I'm going to sit down and allow wrong.
Mm.
No, that is not how it goes, and that's not how it should be. The Virgin Island has gotten to a point where we are basically like non-existence. We're not living in third world. We're living in fifth world. The place is ugly. It is awful.
Mm.
And so when we have to get to the point where we don't have the basic necessity, and for a long time we've been saying this, when you take from your nutrition, you take from your children, and you take from your elderly,
But
then
Karen
you come.
Albert would argue that he inherited this problem.
And it's okay you inherited, but the difference with you and your inheritance came with a ton of money.
Mm.
And when you run for election and you run for office, the reason why you try to get that seat is because you can do better and you can fix the wrong.
Right.
Albert haven't done anything. All Albert focuses is jam and wine, jam and wine, jam and wine. When it comes to lime and jam, Albert up front. But when it comes to the need of our community, the basic need, the utility, education, health, human services, food security, that is not of importance. And then when you have a leader who will come out to the public, and he didn't lie, and I'm not vexed with him because he said that, because he's speaking his truth, that he don't have no legacy to live for because he ain't running again. What does that tell you?
Mm.
He just don't care. So if he didn't do it in the first 4 years when he had to look for a re-election, and now you re-elected him and he don't have to look for anything, you think he's going to care for you now?
Right.
And he's clearly showing and demonstrating that here in St. Croix, okay, let's go to present issue. We have children fighting for their basic right, and adults who have failed them. The adults have manipulated the children, they threaten the children because they have failed the children them. And so you're telling the kids, if they don't come back in class, you're going to give them 0. You cannot give them a 0 when you don't have the adequate space and resources for their learning.
Mm.
This school issue about kids being out of school is greater than an air condition. It's greater than not having toilet paper. It's a health issue. It's a life-threatening situation. And I am surprised at the teachers also who went back, because you came out a couple of days before because of the same situation. But here it is, because of $1 and a threat, you went back in. So now remember, guys, we don't have a proper healthcare system.
Mm.
The heat has been like I've never seen it in the Virgin Islands before. Mole grow.
Mm.
And so let somebody, child or a teacher, because the kid said there is a teacher that is sick and this mole don't do good to him, incur a respiratory or some serious problem that we don't have the way with all here in the Virgin Islands to take care of. We're having challenges with the mainland hospital because we owe them so much money.
Mm.
And so because we want to look good, because we're in charge, so to speak, we don't want the children to show us up. Let we force them back in the classroom And if somebody dead, it's okay. That is what I'm saying. Because when you're putting the pressure on children, not one day in that protest I saw the principal come and address those children. Not one day I saw anybody from the education department came and addressed those children. What they start to do, they start to threaten, turn the music down, it's too loud, which they didn't have to turn it down. Okay? If you don't come to class, you're going to get zero. If you don't come to school, we ain't having no prom. If you don't come back down, you ain't gonna get no graduation. This is the way you treat your kids?
So there are
Because
people,
you, the
Karen,
adult, didn't do your job?
Miss Karen, there's people in every generation, your generation, my generation, even in them in generation I live it behind me, that would say to you, yes, there's problems in the school, and yes, there's things that need to be fixed, but we all went through those same things. So why should the children miss school for it?
No, no, Red Man. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Mm.
The problem right now with the Virgin Islands is lack of accountability,
Mm-hmm.
transparency, and maintenance. The Virgin Island government does get new and next thing mash up. They don't
Mm.
have no in between. Again, we may have had those problems,
Right.
but it wasn't as huge as these problems. We didn't
Right.
have the same kind of weather. Albert said on the radio the other day, they read the news, he said climate change. Climate change didn't come the night before you said that.
Mm.
Climate change didn't just appear. And
Mm.
so the thing with the Virgin Island, we don't move with time. And the reason why we don't move with time because we're too corrupted and touchy. Not
Mm.
unin touchy. And
Mm.
so as you see next week, by Saturday, I think, what today is the 28th?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the 28th? In the next 2 days, a ton of money gonna run out of here like leaves. Because why? They get the money, they don't have no accountability for their spending. The government get upset with them, and then they tell them give them back the money. And it
Mm.
is constant. They have money for all that is needed for the kids, but guess what? Why it can't happen? They have a sign there from how much he is talking about at the same school, talking about school repair and this and that. Is it that you're waiting for one of your friends to get whatever they need, surety bond or whatever, so that they can have the contract to repair the school for the kids? Is it that you haven't found somebody that you could get a kickback from and then you allow the kids to die? What is it? You have the Claude Marcus School with lunchroom equipment from 3 years. 3 years that's sitting there covered down and no use. The lunchroom ladies said, Miss Dickenson, they showed me the picture. The equipment starting to rotten. Okay, they're starting to get rust. And so they have to transport the food back and forth. Why? You have one of the maintenance worker for the government come on the radio like he was saying something big. Oh, the Juanita Garden School had an auditorium and it's never been air conditioned, and we put a 1,000,000-ton unit there. But guess what? It is not working. Why it's not working? Because the imbecile them didn't go and assess the electrical because it's an old building. You're going to put a new equipment there and you're not going to assess the electrical wiring at the school. Here it is now. You could have caused somebody their life. And these are the ignorance that we have going on home here with all of these individuals. And yes, I put the blame back on Albert, because if you hire these people to put them in place and they're not performing the duty, get rid of them.
Right.
Get rid of them. And so when we reach to the point where we have the elderly and the youngs suffering, we're doomed. We're
Right.
doomed. We had the hearing with the human service the other day that I'm glad they got rid of her. We have old people that don't have no food. They saying that human service is running out of 23 cents a day based on what they say the budget is for food. They don't have food there. I mean, what is going on in this territory? We have an agriculture department. You wouldn't lend support. You kept positive there for ignorance. He didn't do nothing. He gone too. I hope Dr. Peterson do better.
Mm-hmm.
Synchronize the food basket, and we shouldn't be here importing all these food from all over. There is so much that we can do. But the
There's some
people
people,
who are in charge,
there's
huh?
some people that are take your when okay, so there are some people that would say it doesn't sound like Karen want us to win. They take your criticism as a symbol of you don't support the government, you don't support us moving forward, you don't support the people, you don't support the board, because you're criticizing, you're criticizing, and ain't offering up any
But I
solutions.
have offered solution. I clean up
Right.
the mental health around the place. What more you want me to do? That's one piece.
Right.
One piece. And the same
Mhm.
government that don't want me is who I was calling me. I have done my part and I
Right.
continue to do so. I can't
Right.
save the whole Virgin Island. And
True.
so I can afford to go out and talk because you who
Mm.
criticize me of talking, what are you
You're doing
contributing to the
nothing. I
solution?
Miss Karen, right? One of
Yes.
my biggest thing is I tell doing this Redman this all the time. What would drive me insane is people are making noise and ain't contributing to a solution.
No.
That'll make me go crazy. Like I can't take the noise in my head. So what I've been seeing is a lot of people rightfully so upset as they should be, you know. But then some people use it and use these kids for political gain, and they're making a bunch of noise, you know. And we ain't offering up no solution. So my thing is, like, we talk about fixing it, as opposed to what it is we get going on wrong here. Let me know your thoughts on it.
Listen, I'm glad you said that. You
Mm.
know, it's sad. It's
Mm-hmm.
sad. It's sad. People took these children to use them for political expediency. If you was a sitting senator or you are a sitting senator and you've been there before, shame on you.
Mm.
Shame on you. One senator come up and say, "Oh, this is what bothered me. You're out there for the children. It's no I or me in this.
Yeah, yeah,
It's no I or me. If you want to come and say the money was appropriated, this should have been done. I,
yeah,
me. No,
yeah.
no, 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 no. Then I want to get back to me. I ain't running for no office.
Mhm. So
Ah,
me,
I ain't
I
running
have
for none. And when you come for Karen,
mm,
Mhm.
come good. Because
Right.
I for sure will allow you to lose your political seat. You
mm,
understand me? I
mm,
will allow that to happen. So you come there, you don't come offering nothing. You want to position yourself in the children them downtrodden time. You come
mm.
in I. So I said, well, if the money was appropriated, you should have seen it to the end because when I got special interest, I had to see it from draft to execution. That's why I said it's the fact.
Mhm.
You understand? You cannot tell me that here we are, children crying, crying out because you have all of these inequities in an institution of learning that is supposed to be safe and sanitary, the happiest time of your life. The happiest time of your life because it's only one high school year you're going to have. And here you got these jokers who ain't there and who trying to come back. Come out there to use the children for their political gain. Again, Karen ain't running for nothing because I'm telling you, if I were running, one of them seats would have been taken.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You
So, Miss
understand?
Karen, you say you
Yes.
ain't running, but you're so passionate about what it is you do.
Mhm.
And I feel like you have a genuine passion about you just from the work that you're doing in the community, especially in the mental health arena.
Mm-hmm.
So, some would say we need folks with the passion that you have, and the fact that you don't have any special interests, the fact that that you're neutral, that you care about the people to run for these Senate seats. Because if we ain't running, and then we allowing the folks that we may not approve of to run for those seats and occupy them seats, and then we outside, and then we're unhappy with the work that they're doing, and then we're vocal about it in the end. So what would you say to someone who thinks that you should maybe take on a political seat in and get throw your hat in the ring?
Let me say this first. as I get involved in this politics, and I ain't new to politics. I been in politics since I about 3, 4. My dad was a big, when I said politician, he run for office. But you talk about a man with a campaign, it was my father with the
Mhm.
Democratic Party at the time, not the Democratic Club, the party. First of all, we have to change the status quo around here. You have to
Mm,
remember that when you go into the legislature, it's 14 other monsters. And you
mm,
see this majority, minority, I'm not into that. You didn't
mhm,
come there to solve the majority or the minority. You came to serve the people. And I understand it. But when you look at what's going on today, and what has validated that the thoughts that we have had for a long time, as we shared it on our radio program every Sunday night, is that the election system is who runs who gets in office. The
mhm,
FBI said it clearly on the interview yesterday. They didn't have any investigation with the election system, and they didn't ask the election system to bring no finding.
mm,
And so, if you can go as far as being disingenuous with that, when the lady put the piece of thing in her pocket, nobody knew what it was. You, the election system, came out and said it was a DS-200. You said it, not me, not Redman.
Mm-hmm.
You. And so here it is publicly now. The FBI is saying we never conducted an investigation. We never asked anybody to speak to us. How can we believe we have fair and impartial election? Now look at this. You notice that Hito Angel, who is sitting wrongfully there, he want to have a governor's day. He want to recognize the board of
Well, you know, you
election.
can't tell us that he's sitting wrongfully there. My ass pork up now. I want to know. I don't want to go down no rabbit hole,
We ain't going down no rabbit hole.
but I
They say
want
you
to
have
know
to have
why he don't
residency
belong
to
there.
prove residency in St. John for the previous 3 years before you run. But he didn't do anything wrong. Let me say this. He showed them that he's a St. John at St. Thomas resident. They put it there. And
Mm-hmm.
Miss
mm,
Wells came to the legislature and clearly told them, you guys put him there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But let we pedal back. You want to have a governor's day, you want to have this day. You have to choose the senators who gonna carry the work of the governor, as we could clearly see. The governor nominate the commissioners that the senator pass. And so everybody has to do the work of the governor.
mm,
And this is what we have going on. So here it is now. Just like with the Epstein thing, you got your set of senators who you have there to do what you want to do, to continue with your narrative and your agenda. And so we continue that cycle because me, myself, I don't talk if I ain't got proof. When I went to the Board of Election to look at how they lock and tag these machines, it was very questionable. And when I questioned that same young lady as to what was going on there that night, among many others, she got upset with me. She left, she went in her room, she cried, and she came back because it was questionable about the behavior. And so when you have an election that rules are supposed to be followed, and you have 18 days before you have poll watchers, you have to question those things. And here it is now the FBI is coming and say, we didn't conduct any investigation. So nothing that you're saying to me, I can really believe now. And so because of people are so self-serving, the government is so corrupted, everybody eating, vomiting, and poking food in their mouth while others out here just looking. The writing is on the wall. And if you do good with your heart, good will come to you. And everything is just manifesting. This whole election system, I cannot be a part of it until the change come from the election system and the board of election. Because a person like me now, the next 14 gonna kill me.
So me and Kyle had a discussion. Kyle called me a morning. I want to know if a morning or afternoon. And we were really kind of perturbed that or just fed up and just say, look, man, I tired of waiting on government. You know what I mean? Cause Kyle is a can-do individual. Like he ain't sitting back and waiting for anybody to do anything. He would like the government to do what it's supposed to do, but he just can't stand to sit back and wait for the government to do something. So he was proposing to me that we gather some individuals around or we just mobilize and go fix things in the school ourselves. No, I'm not opposed to what he's saying, but I am of the mindset that I think they should just let burn all the way down so the public will understand that the government is failing them. If we continue to band-aid and do things ourselves, then they ain't gonna do what they're supposed to do. So I am on the fence personally with what he's saying because I too want to solve my community and make sure that the children them are safe if we can. We have AC guys, we have guys who go paint, we have guys who go do plumbing, and we'll go in there and do the work pro bono because we want it's our children them going to them schools. But I'm also saying to myself, I'd rather it burn all the way down and everybody suffer so we could understand how interested and invested we need to be in the community. So something like this, a disaster like this could never happen again. What do you say
So
to that?
before you go, Miss Karen, before you go, I just want to reiterate a little bit. So
Mhm.
my position when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So I am like of the mindset, like I say, when somebody proven to me over time, decades now, that they've been uh they've been
Incompetent.
late to the party, right?
Mm.
Government, I
Better.
was late to the party. I not being proactive. Because the situation that we in right now, if they were proactive, we could avoid a lot of these things. I just come after the live from the Department of Education, and what it's saying is, yeah, we working on this, we working on that. They mentioned what you say with the electrical grid, the electrical system. They can't just put AC, and they kind of got upgrade the electrical to make sure that they have enough ampage to
Um,
power AC units, right? So I'm
Mm.
like, okay, how long ago did we have this information or did we notice that we could have got a jump start on it, right?
Mm.
So my thing is now, while they figuring it out, our kids in class sweating, they hot, they're sucking up this bad air, being in the water. And one of my biggest things is what I do, Miss Karen, is I am big on financial literacy, right? I feel like once us as Aboriginals, as a community, once we have the knowledge when it comes to financial literacy and money, we could make smarter, more informed decisions with our money and we could start to buy back our home. We could be in a position when these people come from all over to try buy us out, especially after disasters. We're not so desperate and in need that we selling our treasures for little or nothing.
but
So,
Kyle, first of all, I think
mhm,
before we even reach the financial literacy, we need to know who we are as a people and what
yeah,
we have so
hmm
that we can have our finance to maintain that. And
pain,
that's one
yes,
of the things that we're getting away from. And that's how
mhm,
part of this whistling key thing came up. And so
mhm.
you go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay. So that's my thing. So I feel like if we start to invest more, what you just said is right. Because the reason I want to make sure that we ain't selling our home is because I understand what we have here culturally. I love the Virgin Islands, right? So once we all, first of all, we all have to have that establishment, that feeling, that feeling of belonging, right? And knowing that this
National
is our
pride. National pride.
yes, national pride. Once we have that now, and now we couple that with the financial literacy that we have, man, we're gonna be unstoppable. So what I don't feel that
Exactly.
what I don't be saying, why I was mentioning to Red, man, I was like, yo, kids out of school, they in the street, they ain't learning. In my opinion, the children them losing. They getting the bad end of the stick because now two things. They ain't in school learning and then they taking up a fight we should have been fighting as the
Exactly.
adults in this community. Right? So I say majority of the issues that are going wrong in that school, our community could fix. We have parents that's contractors, we have parents that's AP people, we have parents that's nurses. If a nurse say, hey, are you having a shortage of nursing in the schools? I off on Friday. I gonna do this shift from 8 to 10. Susie gonna come in from 12 to 1. Sherry gonna come in from this time to that time. And then now while they're doing that, we working simultaneously, like what I mentioned. I hate noise without a plan. But if we have a plan and we implementing something, we doing that, and then we holding the government accountable at the same time and saying, look what you have us here doing. We shouldn't be doing this here. but our children in school and our children functioning. So what I was telling Red Man was, if we come together as a community and we make sure our children them have what they need, so they could continue to learn, so we could now go up and take up that fight, as opposed to our children fighting for a fight that I feel us as the adults should be fighting. Let me know your thoughts, Ms. Karen.
And I hear you, Kyle, and I agree. But if you don't have that kind of feel in a community, people aren't coming. And the first thing people are say, you get the money, what you do with the money.
Yeah.
You understand? Remember, when we come out of volunteers, you have club. Let me give you a good joke with this government. Let me give you a good joke. They had some people come in here because they approached me too. Little do they know. And they came with this good story. They went ahead and the government gave them, I think, $500,000 because they said they had some kind of money. And they did a playground down in Frederickston. Hear me out. And the government required employees to go down there and volunteer and do this and do that. People was there. And guess what? The people them disappear. You don't hear nothing about them. And everybody, they got money from the government, you know. While everybody come with the free labor because it was a good thing for the community, for the children. Now they got a playground shut down, tied down, whatever. But I'm saying that to say that a lot of us want to do, a lot of us ain't caring, but a lot of us want to do. But when it comes to this central government, a lot of people don't want to extend because we see the waste and we see the corruption and we see the one set of people eating. And we see all these people coming from away and you're getting a contract and you're spending all of this ridiculous administrative fee to your friend with BDO and one set of people alone. People want to do, but they gonna ask why. Because when we fix it now, it ain't like it's a maintenance problem, it's a neglect problem. And the neglect is continuing, it's our history. And so if we had shown some kind of semblance of change, not today, from the time you entered the administration, maybe you would have had more as people see you try to do. But you're not doing anything. And money is going, we gave $10 million to the Jets. For what? We building a baseball field, they only got 3 employees down there. And so you have a mother who is only making $27,000 and she working for the last 15 years. You think she gonna come and help you fix anything? You got a man who got a condition company and he did a contract with the government and 4 years later he can't get money.
You're right.
But then he gonna see some people come in and then they live in life and we suffering.
That's a good point.
You cannot do anything with this government to say as an individual in the community, I want to give them a hand. Because they don't treat any local, they're not treating you good unless you're part of the tipping scheme. But anybody else, we get the worst treatment. And the saddest part, people, is that it ain't nobody doing us this. It's our own people suffering us. And so, when you look at it, how would the community even want to be a part of anything? It's hard. My brother would have loved to come home to fix Central High. That's his alma mater. My brother was a shining student athlete at Central High. Left the Virgin Island and an All-American scholarship to Hampton University because of Central High. Right? They gave him that opportunity to shine. And you hearing your school in disrepair and despair, you would love to come home. But you can't. Because they ain't gonna even buy a ticket for you to bring a team. They ain't gonna even say, well, okay, we'll give you some money to pay whoever you hire. They ain't doing that. And people love their home. You guys sleep in the States, but your heart is in the Virgin Islands. And it is hard. We don't care about our own. This administration, we have had problems for years,
Mm.
but this is the most blatant disregard, inept, lack of professionalism set up individuals have met in government.
Mm. So with the situation now, cause you on the ground, you in St. Croix, and we saw you out there. I saw some videos going around with you out there supporting the children. You bring your speaker box out there so the children can have a mic and use the mic and stuff like that.
And then
Where
people want
are
to vex with
we?
you because you got your own mic out there.
So I know we will get to that part, because I want you to let people know about these things. People need to know about the things that are happening. Not everybody gets to see, and anybody that are aware. But where are we now from a ground perspective, where you are in St. Croix, with the children going back to school in a proper environment, and the government prioritize? Because I always feel like the government don't prioritize the children. You can look at the schools
They
around my house
don't.
for the
They
past 10
don't.
years.
So, first of all, let me say to the public, the way in which we got there is that we were invited there. I didn't even know you had a protest. We were invited there. 'Cause my primary responsibility is to my people.
Right,
And so we went there, and one of the students there is a neighbor of mine. But it wasn't because of that.
right.
We got there the morning. There wasn't the kids were out there. There
Yeah.
wasn't a ruckus or anything, but they had needed a little structure. We got there. We brought the speaker out because I figured they needed to have their voice amplified. And so we went there and had bring assembly. Had others, Foy and Bogle. Everybody came together, and we had it good until the afternoon when the politics came into play. We sometimes think that we're doing good and we could create more bad. I think as leaders in our community, I think we need to look at the people that we serve, and being that they're our first priority. There's so much money flinging away around here, so much money up and down. Why the Senate didn't call an emergency education meeting to see how we could go to start to repair and bring these kids to where they need to be? If the government really cared, guys, I think
Mm-hmm.
that Saturday we should have seen mobilization on the campus where they were bucket and map,
Mm-hmm.
flit, right? We should have seen some kind of mobilization to say at least we know that everything can be fixed overnight, but we
Right.
could have given the kids some honor and respect because we know there is a real situation, and start to do the basic things that we could do. We could put window units in. You could cut out 2 louvers and put in 2 window units and frame it up. Ain't hard. But anyway, they didn't do that, and the kids continue, and the threats continue. So I spoke to one of the parents this morning, and one of the parents was like, it's so sad. First, they had the meeting, and they didn't want the parents to go in with the kids. That's a violation.
Mm-hmm.
Then you want to put this responsibility on children with all of these individuals in suit and tie and jacket, and you tell children, you have to respect authority, and you want to put all of this information that these kids don't need to have or even need to be a part of. And
Mm-hmm.
so you bring one in and you pressure that one. So that one went back in now, and that one is going against his peers because you tell him so much horrendous things.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had a meeting today, and the student made demands with timeline, and it was everything like you said, like what they're saying at the education meeting. Nothing, a mouthful and nothing. I think the teachers, sometimes we have to make sacrifice in life for the greater good. And
Right.
so the teachers, so the chair and them says some of the teachers turn against them, some of the students turn against them because of what you're saying to the children. And that's not their responsibility. Their responsibility is to be children. If they have an advisory group or student president, you're supposed to lay out your dislike and your like to your advisor, which is the adult, and she sit in that space and they fight for you. They advocate for you guys. Not having people cheering in this pressure pot
Right.
to break them because you have done wrong. But when you do that to children, you don't understand what you're doing to these children' mental health.
Right.
Some children are overachievers. Some children will fall in depression because what they thought they was doing right, it seems wrong, and the peers start to drop off. And then we could have a next problem. And so sometimes when we do things for ourselves as adults so that we could look right, and that was one of my problems when I was going to school. If adults do me wrong, I ain't apologizing before they apologize to me. And we don't do that to children. We
Mhm.
don't do that. And we are too big sometimes. We think power is what rules the day. You understand? Because you have a little title to come and say, we are sorry, we made a bunch of mistakes, and how can we work together? What it is you want to see first. I understand they have 40 big fans that they put in the classroom now. They say they can't put in air condition because the window them screwed on and something and something. And it's just a bunch of excuse and excuse and excuse. But I know when they had all kind of VIP situation, they bring all kind of fun and air condition and all kind of thing to accommodate that. You're bringing a singer here that's running you about $2 million. The tourism is involved in that. You stop school. You're talking about kids need to get back in school, but you stop school for Uber Soca Tour. You stop the day operation of the government for Uber Soca Tour when our people didn't benefit from it. Now you're bringing Utopia to stop school. And so we can't even have an alternative because the teachers came and told me that the virtual learning is not up online and that haven't happened since school start. They say
Right.
kids are dropping out of school because it is so boring. We don't have extracurricular for activity for children. We don't have the things that children did when we were growing up. We don't have that. So even if we could have used an alternative space to continue with the education of our children, we don't have that. And so, Kyle, to your point about helping, it is applaudable, but it's not the reality. People have so much gripe with this administration in particular because we're failing more than we've ever. When you have people drinking water that look like creamer in coffee, when you have people drinking water who look like your water in Coca-Cola diluted, what are we saying? The other day I've been in St. Thomas and the power went for time. I believe I could have shut myself off the balcony of the building. And so we have our elderly who don't have. The other day I had to buy some food for an old lady in Plaza because she pick up and she put on, she pick up and she put on. And the only thing she could have paid for was the bottle of Bear aspirin and some back and neck. And so the problem that we have here, Redman and Kyle, in this Virgin Island, I have
So not
I
only
have my people here in the Virgin Island defecating in plastic bag. I have my people here in the Virgin Island defecating in hole. I have my people here in the Virgin Island living on the dumpster. And I could afford to talk because I make it my business every single night to make sure my people don't go to sleep without a meal, and make sure my people go to the doctor, and make sure my people are engaged in services to try to bring their life together. We are living in some serious times in these Virgin Islands, and that is my fight. Give me liberty or give me death, man, Kyle. I didn't come up in a Virgin Island where we disregarded our own.
Mm-hmm.
And we are living in a two-tier system in this Virgin Island with the majority is at the bottom and they continue to sink while those at top could fall to the middle and while all of us is doomed.
Yeah.
My fight is not for Karen. My fight is for Redmond. My fight is for Kyle. My fight is for my people. My fight is for everybody in these Virgin Islands. Because this is my home. I don't have a personal vendetta with nobody. My gripe is to restore my home, restore the dignity of the Virgin Islands, and care for our people like we do. When we could collude with foreigners to rape our children, we are doomed. And we can see clearly how we don't care for them as we demonstrate the lack thereof for our children currently. And if they don't have nothing in it for them to get, to hell with them. And it is demonstrated. Karen don't want anything. But what I know is that I have a love for my home. And a love for the place that I stand on the ground coming from LBJ Garden housing community to the hills of Sign Farm. This is the place that brought me to that. So where I could come back home here, not only here, if I go to Washington, D.C., people know me the same because I impact people's life. And if I could do it out there, I could come home and do it. And instead of us fighting one another to get to the finish line, where we have the bigger fish to fight, we have to learn to unite and come together. We have to end the separation and realize the prize ahead of us, which is the future of these Virgin Islands. Getting rid of these individuals who have no care for none of us, including you who think they're your friend. We are doomed as a people, Redman and Kyle. I am here on the ground every day and I could beat my mouth because I'm a doer. I didn't come here, look, I come with my money in my pocket, brothers. But I was just hoping along with the due diligence so we could make it easier. But I think this is the way, because if I had get in the bureaucracy, I wouldn't be able to do for my people the way I do. I become passionate about what my beliefs are. Because this is a Virgin Island like I've never seen. When we gonna collude with each other to take the land from our people, i.e. Whistling Key, and then we want to come with conservatorship to take the other little bit from our people. How can I stand or anybody in this Virgin Islands stand and accept that? And then you want to come with your mouth bag, your mouth full of like, you ain't coming for a town hall meeting for the school children, but you're coming with a town hall meeting to thief people's house. Huh? And I must be respectful to Albert. You got to be man. No. Respect is earned, it is not given. It is earned. And as the FBI trampled down on these Virgin Islands, a lot of people shaking in their boots. Because I think that the FBI, you ever see any FBI come any place to keep any question and answer on radio? Huh? They ain't come. So all of you who know, you better run fast and tell them. Because they ain't holding no prisoner when that time comes.
Right. So, speaking of the FBI, and I feel like all of it tying together. And with me and Kai had did a live with Dr. Hadaya Stewart, and Gabriel Corrada about the St. John. And it was just, a synopsis of what really going on, an overview. But I know that you've been working with Ida Smith and Russell Christopher, and from what I've gathered through reading some of the documents and some of the different things, that this thing with St. John and Whistling Key and the government, all of it tie all the way back to Epstein Island, which I've heard they sold when they wasn't supposed to sell it or didn't even have the right to sell
Exactly.
it.
And let me say
So can
this
you
to you.
elaborate on
Point
that
blank,
and walk us up into St. John and who I
point
assume
blank
who the
period.
shopkeeper is?
This whole thing was unlawful. You know, I heard this, and I'm gonna be clear and I'm be serious. I heard about this land takeover back during the last gubernatorial campaign. You know, secret to nobody, I supported Ken Benair and Oakland Bent, and I heard them with that when they were saying that they're getting ready to take this land, and what we need to do is make sure we open our passage from Lambeth Shore so that we can take the pressure off of Cruise Bay and in case of anything. That's what we're going on. And so I knew that a while back they tried to swap some land in Salt River, St. Croix for the school in St. John, and the people in St. Croix said no. And so one day I'm reading the newspaper and I saw in the newspaper as Dr. Peter is my good friend and she has a practice in St. John and she go there frequent. And I saw the article in the paper and it said that the comment period is closing and the people need to come on board. And I mentioned it to her and I said, listen, tell your people in St. John this is what happening. And the individuals in St. John, maybe one or two people knew, but the majority they didn't know. Maybe one or two people have been in this fight before, but sometimes a fight don't take one person, Kyle and Redman. You know, sometimes you're in a fight and you're fighting, and it's you alone. So you become frustrated for every pushback you get. And sometimes you need a fight for a man to be in your left and your right. Anyway, so I called and they were like, no, I don't know what's going on. So my friend Cleo now went to the people in St. John and said, hey, my friend could help her. So she come to me and she said, Karen, we got to go St. John to help these people. We got to go and stir up St. John. St. John people nice, but they don't have no fight. We went and we had a meeting, Redman. The meeting had about 100 people. Nice meeting, you know. Nice. A lot of people didn't know. But like everything else, there's always a mole, right? And they had a mole in the camp. We end up I called to have a meeting with Stacy for us. We had the meeting. Stacy said she didn't know nothing. We asked for a meeting with Interior. She sent me back a text and telling me another bureaucracy up here in Congress and blah, blah, blah. And Stacy tell us we're going to have to take it to court and she don't know. We talk about a situation with Angus King in Maine where he fought and got some land. And she was like, oh, that going to take so much years. Well, Angus King was the one who said, President, who to tell he going to take the same amount of years as him unless you try, right? And she disregarded us. We asked her for a follow-up meeting. Lo and behold, she came to the media and made it her and Bulke's meeting. She didn't have no interest in it. That was our follow-up meeting. When she had the follow-up meeting, Kyle, Redman, and the listeners, it was awful. You couldn't get on. She make it so cumbersome. Like 20 people had to be on the same phone. Okay, you know, it's a lot of elder people. They couldn't get on. They put up this big thing in your face. 3 minutes, get off. When people were talking, I remember the first meeting, a lady, a doctor, came on and she was like, you know, I think she came there to work for the park. And after she realized what they were doing, she started to join local organization. And she said, the things that the park is doing is very wrong to the people and illegal. And they cut her off. Oh, you know, her time is up. We had this second meeting. It wasn't good. And we continue to do what we have to do. We continue to gather as a people. And we continue to call them out. And so I said to them, guys, we can't do this alone because whatever precedent is set in St. John is set in the territory. And for too long, our politicians have put us against each other, but they continue to gain in the whole thing. And so the People's Choice that we have, the organization that we have, it didn't start because of Whistling Key. It started right after the election as we saw the wrong that was going on. The People's Choice only started about 6 of us, maybe 7, 3 in St. Croix, and maybe 4 in St. Thomas. That's how the People's Choice came on board. It's no political affiliation. Don't get me wrong. The People's Choice is about the issue of the people that we bring forth and offer solutions. That's what the People's Choice is about. And so, as we dove into that, we started to realize that because remember, it's a crucial, and I mean, know nothing about not St. John land. I just come to galvanize. I good with that. But as we continue to do that, you start to learn, and we start to gel together as a unit and as a family. We agree to disagree, but we come together every week religiously for the last set of months. And we got information from Denmark, from the National Church. We got information that is lawful. That is the law. That is the law. And we start, so I called the Senator, Novel Francis. And Shauna, which is his chief of staff, is my friend. And I said, Shauna, I'm asking you to ask the Senator not to vote for the Whistling Key swap. She was like, Karen, I don't even know what you're talking about. We haven't seen anything. I said, I'm going to send you some information I think I sent. She said, I'm going to do some further research. Lo and behold, about 3 weeks after that, committee had a whole meeting to go for Whistling Key. Remember Albert dealing with this since about 2019. He had a preliminary contract signed in the height of COVID in 2020 when nobody was doing anything. The law required that you keep a meeting in the land, on the premises, in the property where it is. You didn't have such meeting because it was COVID. Virtual don't count. And so, yes, some other governors try and they just drop it. The Young tried, but he got out and you pick it up and run with it. Right? And so, we're saying to them, we sent everything. We sent nice packages to the legislature, to every legislative individual to read. We're giving you the law. Here it is, guys. You cannot do it. The land do not belong to the government, and the Whistling Key don't belong to the government, and neither does Katerinburg. Here it is. Here is the proof. This is all the proof, not hearsay, not what you think, the proof. Albert came back last year and said, oh, that's a done deal. It's a done deal. These senators had no idea up to today of what they voted for. Then Stacey jump up and say she gonna keep some kind of little group. Then they broke down into a group where everybody wasn't involved. If it's a committee at a whole, and everybody, if you have a subcommittee, everybody should be involved. They black out some couldn't come in. And this is where I got Stacey had some kind of meeting. But here the joke. We've been trying to get to Basil Ackley for the longest. He wouldn't answer. And so me myself drop letter up to Interior. I walk in DC and drop the letter myself. And here Stacey have some kind of meeting or whatever they were having. And here Mr. Basil, who worked for the Department of Interior, is joining in a governmental meeting, but he's not coming in as a government official. Well, if he could come in as a public person, why couldn't others? If you're coming in this meeting that has to do with Interior, you're the official for Interior for the Virgin Islands. And you're coming in the meeting, you're not coming in as your title, you're coming in as an individual. So what are you doing there? What is your purpose? Why I couldn't go? Why Ida couldn't go? Why Lorelei couldn't go? Why? Why the other senators you bar couldn't go? And at the end of the day, they offered nothing because there was nothing to offer. Amos Carty made an opinion on July 10th, and we asked him if he was of the same opinion. Because you can't go and change laws to suit yourself, to add in words, to think you could make it right. And so this fight with Whistling Key has been nasty and ugly. Let me say this to you guys. This is not about a school. It is not about a school. You have, like we talk about a conservatorship, You have John DeYoung as the conservator, and you have Bloomberg as the investor. Here it is in St. John, we have two schools, Julius Sproul and Guy Benjamin. Why we can't just break the school down and fix it up? Oh no, it's an 100-year floodplain. But Louisiana is in an aquarium, right? Louisiana is in an aquarium, right? But here it is. It's not good to build a school. But here it is, Bloomberg have a big charrette where he want to break the fire station down, take out part of the ballpark, break down the school to make shopping center, mall, and business center. But more so, guys, you have Miss Wells, who is talking about this passion about the children. What happened to these that you're neglecting now? So we gonna do right by our children only until we get school in St. John? If you can't do right now, when you're gonna do that? St. John have maybe about 120, maybe 200 students. By the time this here done build, when Noah build the ark, St. John may not have students because a school alone is not the importance. You have to think about where the teachers gonna live, and you don't have the housing inventory right now. So basically, who is in St. John? And then you're gonna sit before the Senate and say the same thing you're trying to alleviate is what could happen. So the teachers and children could come from St. Thomas to go to school. What kind of ignorance is
that? So build a school in St. John for
children to come from St. Thomas. But must it just for them to get an experience?
The people from St. Thomas should come St. John to go to school.
Yeah. Huh? Does that make sense? Oh, and this gonna make a shelter. We don't need a shelter. You use the church, you use wherever for the shelter. The size of the school that you're building, that you're supposed to build, okay, you ain't gonna build nothing. FEMA ain't even give you the money yet. And you're talking about we ain't gonna get this money from FEMA again. We ain't gonna get it because we ain't gonna get a school bill. The plan is, let we do the school, let we get a swap through. And so the people are gonna be like, yeah, we get a land for the school and we forget everything else, and everything else go down. And then I see they're gonna come back by Catherine Ball and they're gonna build a big convention center that they want to build. And so the Dana Fred Gregory, them who was so disrespectful, the Joker Jovan James, the not aware Diane K part, the fretward attack, ignorance, and the Maurice James, who's supposed to be an attorney that say, let we give them the land, then we'll fight them back for it. Huh? These kind of people that you got representing you here in this legislature, and the rudeness and the behavior with them. All the St. Jonians and seniors came down, a whole lot of them, not even a bottle of water they offer them, and they tie these people out all day. And this is the kind of clowns we have. I call them clown. Because Albert is the ringmaster. I don't care who like it. It don't matter to me. I didn't ask you to come on or you invite me. I just speak the way Karen Hart feel, and I just speak truth.
And that's what
we are suffering. Young, old, even them that were dead because they're over in the Morgan St. Thomas for 2-3 months. So everybody's suffering, yeah. Everybody's suffering around here. And the only people who saying things are good is them who colluding with the thievery, if that's a word. Okay, you know, and in touch is the new vocabulary. And these other things.
So
Karen, it's not easy around here.
That in touch, that exchange went viral. You know?
Yeah.
That exchange.
You know the meaning of that? You know what's the meaning of that? You know what's the meaning of that?
Yeah, tell me.
Albert. And so we are facing serious times here in these Virgin Islands like we've never had.
What's the solution?
Monies are going back. What is the solution? Albert don't take what he take, let Albert go about his business. Because we cannot allow Albert to stay here for the next 3 years. We cannot. And this is nothing personal. This is just observation. This is the sentiment of the people. But again, what you buy is what you wear.
Yeah.
Because even those who bought it is crying.
Mm.
They come to me every day. They call me. They meet me. I apologize. And I say to them, I told you so. I know Albert before you run out for a governor. Albert ain't had nothing. And today everybody got his Albert so pump up. Huh? Need this big swell up head. If Albert is not scripted, he run half script. And nobody want to tell him, Albert, what are we coming to? Let me tell you, in politics, people gonna eat. But you can't eat all for yourself, man. If you eating on a platter, let Kyle get a little bowl. Let you get a little cup. But you eating everything and nobody else ain't getting. We ain't seen a light. We ain't seen a hotel. We ain't seen a new school. We ain't seen a new road. We ain't seen clean place. We ain't seen nothing. And people talking ignorance. The thief in Whopper, they went up 22 cents again and Whopper. I run in a place and I got like bill to pay. Huh?
St. Thomas been out for 7 days. Did I go from like the
Exactly.
grid? Right.
Exactly. And so the corruption starts from the election system because you got to put the people in place to continue to run the narrative. Whether I want to believe it or not, it's true. That's how you get them. That's the gatekeeper. And Carolyn them said they clearly said that. And so we have to understand, are we ready for resolution or revolution? What is it going to take for us to get satisfaction in this Virgin Island? We can't continue to sit down. No, my boyfriend or my husband can't be with me and me making no noise. No, we just laying down like possum, roadkill. Look what you do to children them, so it clearly demonstrates that you have no care for nobody. You just had a ton of money, went back from human service, TANF money, and they're fighting tooth and nail right now to make sure no more go back come Saturday or whatever day the 30th is. You had money go back from public works. And the money keep going back from all the department them because of the incompetence and ineptness, the scampishness, because you don't follow the grant them the way they're supposed to follow. And so you can't report. And so we could do so much in this Virgin Island because we got a whole ton of money. But you have the inadequate, inexperienced, and the friend then that comes to the mercy of all of us. And so again, let me make this clear. Karen ain't running for nothing. But as long as I got his mouth hooked onto my body, they gonna hear me. Because I don't be out here for me. I don't be out here for the marginalized, the stigmatized, those who in the housing project, the man them in jail because I be in there. Okay? I be in there, I know who I am. And I stand in who I am. I never cause a perpetuity on my government. I got jail for a bounce check. Okay?
I am. It's so funny that you say that, right? Because sorry, Kyle.
Go ahead.
It's just funny that you said that because when I have conversations with certain individuals about
to be in jail,
that's the thing they like to tell me. Oh God, don't forget to talk about what you went in jail for, as if to try to discredit your love and care for the Virgin Islands and highlight that. You know,
and ask them what they doing besides minding people business and talking bad about people. They doing nothing. They ain't got no value. Look at me now.
Exactly. And that's a big thing for me again. Like I say,
I don't bother with them because I know when you go in jail, you don't see no donkey, you don't see no horse, you don't see no mule. You don't see people. And they got people cast perpetuity against this government. Albert Tiffin million. Me the criminal, you know. You think because somebody go and in a newspaper that there's a criminal? No, the act is what make you a criminal.
Mm.
And a lot of them walking around in Kansas jail. I come back to the board and I'm working with the federal government. So continue to worry about my jail time. If you want to put that in your pocket, you walk with it, honey. I have no problem
Mhm.
with that. I hope that you could look yourself in the mirror and make sure that your shadow is you and not nobody else. Because I know my shadow is mine. And what makes me who I am is who I've been. So I continue to talk about Karen. I like that. Because they
Well, Miss
don't have
Karen,
anything of value. They were
Miss
mind people
Karen,
business.
we
Yes, love.
um we all have people that we love that
Of course.
been in prison, been in jail, like so them thing don't even mean nothing to we. People
No,
gonna
it don't
start. People
bother
gonna
me, honey.
get
No,
that.
no, no,
So,
no,
but aside from that, I see your passion. I could feel it. I could see
no.
that you really love your home and you love and you want the best for our place. We have a machine, like you mentioned earlier, that and it's a system that just it's a cycle. Some say the best way to break that system is from within. So again, I'm gonna bring it back up. You don't think maybe infiltrating that system, Miss Karen, getting in there, shaking up the place from within, would inspire some like-minded people like yourself to do the same, to get in there and try to change things from the inside. Because
Of course. Of course. But you have to plan that strategically. And I will say it without a shadow of a doubt, we're doing that right now. You
awesome.
understand? Because there's a whole bunch of people who feel the same way that I feel.
Hmm.
You understand? And so we have come to the point basically where you talk about a kind of right in it, that we have to vet individuals to make sure that they're doing the things for the people.
Hmm.
And so you have to look at individuals who you see that has produced and have the love for the community outside of politics, just in their everyday life. Because we know when it comes to politics, our organization ain't about politics. But if you live in a society, your politics.
Exactly.
And especially a broken one. And
Hmm.
so there's a whole lot of individuals that we would hope that would want to take these seats and put those on the outside. Of course, we have the issue here in the Virgin Islands that people like to play this name game. But as I continue to go out here on the airwaves and in different arenas to address my people, it's going to be masses over classes. The time has come, Kyle, that not because you come from housing, because I you know, we could stay here and say that. They never
Hmm.
expected people from the housing community to be anything.
Hmm.
All the thought we were drug dealers and welfare hustlers.
Hmm.
Mhm. They never thought we would have been anything. But we
Hmm.
are some of the most intelligent and loyal people and dedicated, I must say.
True. True.
But how we're going to do that, people, we have to do it together. We
Right.
cannot do it apart. This last administration is evidence of when we work apart. And not for the greater good of the Virgin Island, we die as one.
Mhm.
And if we work for the greater good of the Virgin Island, we all will live in harmony and peace. Kyle, you will get yours. Redman, you will get yours. I will get mine. He will get his, and she will get these. Even if you're there on the top of your teeth, 1 million more than the one to the bottom. But as long as everybody is getting, where people
Hmm.
could have living wages, where people could come to a community where we start to respect each other. We're living in a traumatized society because the lack thereof of so much. And people are very thin skinned because when you can't provide for your family, it becomes an issue. You have a single mother of three working for the government for $27,000 or maybe 29. And she been there doing her work. And here it is, one of your fancy bancy little them come in making 85 and she must train her. How do you think that individual would feel? We don't promote within. We don't train our people. We don't appreciate our government employees
Mhm.
because only certain people go to training. If we were doing what we supposed to do, we wouldn't have bargaining issues with the union. And let me say this to you guys. The retirement system will never be solvent because we have people, unless they change the system to something else where others can contribute. People are leaving out of the Virgin Islands like rapid fire. And you cannot sustain a retirement system for a young man who come in at 18 and working in a place like fire, EMT, in those hazardous duty positions that they give them 20, 25 years. They will outlive the contribution that they gave. And so if we don't have people putting in, we can't maintain to put out. No, so there's a lot of individuals who won't be able to have a retirement from the border unless we don't change the system. We here in St. Croix, we have a tent, $137 million tent, and it ain't functioning. The modular, a modular is a tent. The tent's in different way. It is a tent. And we don't have a proper hospital. We don't have a property utility system. We don't have proper schools. We don't have proper human service. We don't have proper, we just don't have lists. And people think that we're here because you could go and pay WAPA because you getting these big kickbacks. When other people got to decide, well, I'll give WAPA 50. I think I could give Plaza 50. And what I could do for myself or give me a child. We have made crime a necessity in the Virgin Islands. Because when a man, Albert continue to say, we don't have no workforce. And you could pass any place and see 10, 15 man under the tree. We have to reach in. You have jobs in the newspaper for months. And your own testimony to the legislature say you must only hire 4 people out of a department that need 40 people. But no, you can't hire them. Because the money that goes for those salaries is what you took and you paid your administrators. You stole $45 million out the general fund and you can't get back.
Where did that $45 million go, Miss Karen?
Me? They say WAPA, but WAPA locking off everybody like so maybe they ain't pay them. I can't understand. I can't understand. You take $1 million to give a child, but you turn around and give to some other. What are we doing? Mr. Jacks give you money. Epstein give you money. You run away with 200 million. I hope they ain't carrying it up in Malta where it does go. If William Irby came back out of Malta because he's part with them, Albert and them, with a refinery here in St. Croix. Okay? Let me tell you, corruption so stink wrong, yeah. I don't even think the sargassum that was in the bay got anything over this corruption. And they don't care. What happened to all them Tesla car? If you had take that energy grant, you could have take that same energy grant and we'd have had the school them fix up together. Okay, could have take fixed light, it could have put in air condition. Right? Where the Tesla them gone? Because they only got two ports here to plug them up, so I don't know where they gone. Where the money from WAPA, the 20 million that went missing, and next set of money from hospital, nobody talking about them. And Albert wants state of emergency. Are you mad?
State of emergency. State of emergency. What's the reasoning for state of emergency?
What you were calling state of emergency for? I think for WAPA or something, sir. Eh? Right. Oh, the dump. Yeah, the dump. What you want state of emergency for? So you go spend more money now when he get that money, he ain't got to go to the legislature. He just spent it. He spent almost 300 million on the campaign. We could have given everybody in the Virgin Islands $150,000 and happy. Instead, they try to take it about the game lottery, 1 million St. Thomas, 1 million St. Croix. Eh? and then tell you come choke up your hand for one money and choke up your hand for next money. Nothing. Let me tell you something. Nothing going on around here. We got a racetrack down there. A part of our livelihood. They want a friend coming but racing. No, nobody asks for no casino. They ask for racetrack. Cal White, you hold the insurance. Go ahead and fix the thing, and then you lease it out. Everybody want, and I love Cal, you know. I love Cal. That's my boy.
Yeah, that's my
That
boy.
is
I
my
love him to
boy.
death.
Oh God, I love Cal. And I don't call a spade a spade. I
Mm.
love Cal. That's my boy. I say it publicly. But Cal, you don't let them then railroad you. Go ahead. You guys hold the insurance. Go ahead, fix the place, and lease it out to people. But because of them want money and thief, this is the confusion we got here now. And then you put one island against us, and Thomas getting this, and we ain't getting ours. Because we always got Papi Show over here. I was trying to wiggle and room. Everybody wants status, but they ain't got standing.
Mm.
And this is
That's a
what's
bar.
going
Everybody
on in the
wants
Virgin
status, but
That's
they
a
don't
bar
have
right now I'm
standing.
doing.
Yeah, I like that
Huh?
one. I love that one. Everybody
Instead
have
of
They ain't
status,
like
got
that
but
one.
standing.
That's
Everybody,
what
the
that is.
biggest criminal them wrong is them in government house and all in them administration who they in the best jacket. They ain't the man them who selling weed. Ain't me who write a bounce check. Maybe I was trying to feed veteran.
Mm.
It is you who taking out of the mouth of Virgin Islanders. Not one, not two, all.
Mm.
You're the criminal. It
can
is
you
those
elaborate?
organizations who sit in back room and all of them come together and continue to say how we gonna continue to oppress our people. You're the criminal. It is a
Mm.
page like Women's Coalition who taking money from Epstein and said it doing good for people who they in domestic violence, but you're only coming against the little local man who might give girlfriend a little script. You're the criminal. The Women's Resource Center, who ain't doing nothing for the people them and calling me, but if I got bed in sinker, use the criminal. MTO who got ton of money and they homeless shelter, they right, they homeless place, they right there by the market. You doing and all are you, and in the market got more dirty people than ever. You're the criminal. And everybody who take and who gain from the backs of the people of the Virgin Island, and we can't see the light of day. Allah is the criminal. So continue worry about me.
Mm.
Worry about me.
Can you elaborate for us what's actually happening with the landfill situation and how long that's
So
been going
I
on?
understand that the dump is burning.
Mm.
That's my understanding that it's burning. And for whatever reason, it seems like they can't get it under under really control. It has died down, but I guess embers or whatever is in the soil for so long.
Mhm.
You understand? When they come with the oil or whatever they have there, what they dump illegally, continue to cause this flame and this burning. It is time for us to get proper landfill,
Right.
proper place to dump our trash. Come together and fix up the place where we can do recycling like we do in the States, right? Some days
Mhm.
you gotta come pick this up, some days you gotta pick that up. When you got bed and thing, you got what we call bulk trash, right? In the States.
Mhm.
That goes with your taxes. If your tax up to date, you could get bulk trash pick up for 4 times a year. If your tax ain't up to date, you pay for every piece that they're picking up.
Mm.
We could make so much money around here. If we enforce anti-litter around here, we could make a girl and old car from around your house who ain't walking wagon ants and mice going in your neighbor them house. Get them up. If you ain't get it up, find them. If you come around and your yard ain't clean, find them. If you got oil in the driveway, find them. We could do so much around here because we as a people, we have to take in responsibility of our environment and our place too.
This Karen is a veteran, right? I served in the US Army. I went to National Guard. I I get deployed to Iraq when I was 20 years old. So I got shipped out in 2005. And they had a landfill in Iraq where they were burning the trash. They were just the trash were just there, and they used to have like an open fire pit. A lot of veterans get sick, and
Mhm.
going back they had to get incinerator, and they had to like
Right.
internally burn it use them that material that they could have that could have been used for energy and all type of different stuff. So it's so much different
Right.
things we could be doing out here, and in that same war zone I were in, if we could figure that out in a war zone,
Mhm.
not to mention in one of the hottest places in the world in Iraq, we didn't have as much power outages as we do in the United States Virgin Islands. So I feel like there's a lot of people just kicking the ball down the road. Somebody like nobody ain't tick because these things are things that need to be addressed now, planned out properly, plan in place,
Yeah.
and then boom, we fix it at the back end. But it's like we just keep putting band-aids on a bus head and it's not working, man.
Yeah, and that's something that me and you had discussed. We lose Miss Karen for a little bit. She should be coming back in shortly, but that's
Mm,
something that we had discussed when you call and you are concerned about. Cause I know you always want to try to do things yourself. You don't like waiting on nobody. You don't like depending on nobody, and that's my fear. That when we do
mm.
it ourselves, it's
We take
merely a
away
band-aid. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
Rather than finding the crux of the issue. And with all these problems that Miss Karen Dickenson is talking about and all the issues that we have, I'm still curious to know and curious to see how the people retain this information and keep it at the forefront of our consciousness so that we can mobilize and make a difference. Not because I don't have a personal problem with anybody in the government. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I don't know them like that to have a personal problem, but what I do is I have a personal problem with how the establishment is ran,
functioning, yeah.
you
I
know,
feel
how
you.
it's functioning. And you know, Mikaela is one of them people, if they give you 20 million, you take five and you take care of the people, me and tell nobody nothing, they good. You put five in your pocket, you take care of the people, them wing and nothing to
Yeah,
complain
yeah,
about, but there's
yeah, yeah.
five.
And keep everybody quiet,
Just keep
you know?
not even quiet, but everybody feel
Happy.
like it isn't happy. But
Yeah, correct.
you taking and nobody else ain't eating, that is when the noise become, you know, and then they'll turn around and say, well, you're accusing us of taking, or they threaten you, or they don't want to be your
Go on a
friend, or they need
soliloquy doing.
support.
Go on a soliloquy. Keep going. Come on.
Right. They don't want to be your friend, they blackballing you, they can't give you no money because you're speaking out against this. People afraid of losing their job. People don't, don't have the ability to say how they feel. So then they take a person like Karen, they take a platform like Caribbean Currency and we would do and the guys them in St. Croix, I believe, who doing theirs, and everybody have to speak loudly on these issues and bring some type of awareness to it. Because we ain't seen any changes, we ain't seen any progress, we ain't seen nothing how it is now. It was than when I was in school. I just see a picture the other day of the locker rooms for Central. All rusted and bust down. These children don't even have no place to put their books. I see the bathroom. Nobody want. Women have a hard time using bathrooms outside of their home. No, you're asking these young girls to go in these bathrooms there. Don't feel safe. Don't feel secure. Ain't cleanly. You know what I mean?
And
So
what,
yeah,
like I say, it's just a lot of kicking the ball down the road, man.
yeah.
Cause I watched some of
Your
the
camera
live.
off if you don't know.
Oh shit! I
Yeah.
didn't turn it on.
Okay.
I could see myself. No,
Okay.
I
Now I
think
can see you
Sony
now.
just had the screen and you. Sony just had the screen and you alone. That's why.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Um, I was watching some of the live for the Department of Education, and like people keep saying this is a problem that they inherited. But I want to know, like, where's the foresight? We inherit something this way, but in the direction that we going in, we gotta do something different. So we had a whole summer. They were doing walkthroughs. They don't do these walkthroughs where they check in for whatever, but they were saying they check in for like life emergencies, quality of life type of thing. So I guess AC didn't fall in that category,
Right.
right? So it's like, okay, the electric walk in and they ain't gonna electrocute no children. But at the same time, you walk the premises. Y'all saw a lot of these things that were wrong, and I still open up schools to get these kids in there. And it's like, I feel like it's just lack of just
I mean,
proactiveness, man.
and it's prioritization. what we think is important in the community. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
you could build up the waterfront in St. Thomas. You could do a lot of cosmetic different things. You could give $10 million to the Jets. You know what I mean? And it's one of them people that feel like tourism does a great job.
Yeah.
But it's more to the Virgin Islands than tourism and spending money on tourism and bringing people to come to
Facts.
the Virgin Islands to scout and see the good life from a distance and then want to come and live here while we know the people that are living
Because
here
this
actually
is
suffering.
this exactly. This is the cycle that it breeds. When we invest in so much in tourism, right, and we bring so much people here, and they see that beautiful touristy side, no, they're like, oh my God, I live in Wisconsin. I want to move here,
Yeah.
right? And we're not giving that same amount of energy to the schools and the kids and the future. So no, when they finish school, guess what they're doing? They're
They want
leaving
to leave
and they ain't coming back.
and they ain't
And
coming
then
back.
when they do come back, okay, Miss Karen, you're back. When they do come back, you ain't get nothing for them because all these
I am back.
outsiders don't buy up everything. Good to see you. You good to go?
Good to see you guys. You know the internet here does work. Sometimes maybe when you're talking too much at the government, they just lash you off. But we're good to go.
So Miss Karen, I really want to know,
But
like,
yeah,
with
so
all the good
you
work you
know.
doing, is there any way some like the
Mhm.
community we could help? We would like to lend a helping hand to what it is you're doing. Is there any way we could donate to your cause?
Of course, you know, it's always, let me say this to you guys. We feeding is our big thing. Feeding because a lot of people out here hungry. Money is always important. We got a lot of bills to pay. I don't pay these bills out my pocket. Whatever little contribution the government, I mean, not the government, the people. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, I say to people, I have never asked the government for anything. Never. They've invited me to it. Never, never, never,
Mm-hmm.
never. But I cannot say
Mm-hmm.
that my community near and far has overwhelming in support that they provide for us. My
Good.
center don't just have young homeless, you know, we have elderly too because we don't have any place to put them. And I
Yeah.
wouldn't them for nobody. They're
Yeah.
gonna stay right there. You know, this summer
Mhm.
I took the whole house to DC. I took the whole house. We went to DC and I brought them to see what life is outside. Some of them never been on a plane
Wow.
with my money, not the body money. And the transition, the transformation that occurred on the return, it was
Mm-hmm.
awesome. And so the community can help by contributing funding. We always need cleaning supplies. We always need food. We always need pampers for the elderly. You know, we always
Mm-hmm.
need socks and shoes and underwear. The basic what everybody would need every day to live. And as we move forward with our housing piece, that's when we're gonna come to the public and ask for volunteers, kind of like what you were talking about, for the
Uh-huh.
volunteers to come for something more purposeful. Not that the kids' needs aren't important,
Mm-hmm.
but the need of the kids, the people that ain't got the money, spend the money on the children and I stop trying to take why you cook there. Spend the
Yeah.
money on the children. And so when we start with our housing program, we're moving into three-tier housing. We have some farmland that we're going to do some farm therapy, permanent supportive housing, and single room occupancy because people have to live in different tiers. They all
Mm-hmm.
can't live the same because they don't function the same. And
Yeah.
so here in the Virgin Islands, what we do one thing, force everybody every place. The work that I
Mm-hmm.
do, guys, you're not coming in it for the heart. You can't look for money for it. And so we have a PayPal. You could put in the collective collaboration, and that will come up. You know, our website is done. We're rebuilding our website, and you can send your
Can you tell us
donation
exactly
to
what the
two
PayPal is?
one. The PayPal you could either put in two things: 240-447-7403,
Mm-hmm.
or you put in the collective collaboration, and that will be there.
That's at the
in
collective
November.
collaboration.
No, just the collective collaboration.
The collective
This will be
collaboration.
our fourth year. We keep a community Thanksgiving. We did that right in the height of COVID, as we know people weren't moving, and we kept a community Thanksgiving. We do this Thanksgiving every Tuesday before Thanksgiving because we know a lot of people don't have Thanksgiving.
Mm.
Prior to that, we will make boxes for families with a turkey, a ham, potato, macaroni, rice, and we give it out to them for those who don't have, so that on Thanksgiving Day they could have a dinner for their family. We provide our individuals when they move into their own house. We furnish the entire home. The entire home I furnish. We provide, we like a pantry for the community. We provide family with food when they don't have. We provide family with appliance and other things for a family who just don't have, because we have that. And we provide this for individuals in real time. We help individuals with all kind of thing, immigration issue, whatever we can help them with, we help them with. I am bilingual too, yo hablo español también. Gracias
Mhm.
por la gente que está mirando a nosotros hoy. Los problemas de gobierno son peor, pero si nosotros vinimos juntos, vas a arreglar las cosas que tienes aquí en la isla. Necesito tu apoyo para arreglar las cosas que tiene de aquí. La cosa de la
Mhm.
escuela, la cosa del hospital, la cosa del guapa, la cosa de la calle, la luz, todas las cosas que tiene de aquí. Y la cosa está peor, está peligroso. Pero si nosotros vinimos juntos, se voy para adelante y vos lo arregles. So I don't speak Spanish too,
I
you
did.
know?
I don't. I skip every day of Spanish class.
Yeah.
All I hear you say
But you
was
know,
chicken.
Jeez,
I hear some about
I
poultry.
I,
I
but that's
didn't even
impressive,
learn
Miss Karen.
Spanish.
Very
I
impressive.
didn't even learn Spanish in school. I learned Spanish on the street, you
Mhm.
know? And so most of my job in the States was Spanish, just Spanish, as I work with the kids at the border and build shelters, big shelters throughout the United States for them. So this work that I do is not something that I'm learning. It
Mhm.
is something that I know. I know it well. The
Amazing.
work that I do is not for me, it's for us.
Amazing.
Because
Amazing.
when we get up tomorrow, we don't know if tomorrow gonna bring us what today brought us.
Mhm.
And so if we understand who we are and what we are about, then we can understand where we're heading. But if we don't understand that, then we will fall. If we could put aside, I think today that the more degree we get is the more narcissistic we become. I think we have more paper holders, institution attendees than educated people. Everybody fight for the most paying job to pay back Uncle Sam. That's what they fight for. I don't walk around here saying what degree I got and who I am, because the people who do that, they're wasteful. And I don't want to be in the wasteful bunch. I want to stand as me as an individual, absent all the comma them behind your name. Because one of the comma most of us don't have is CS. And that is common sense. And so if you're not being purposeful in life, I tell people there's a difference with living for purpose and purposely living. Purposely living is a pimp looking for more woman to pull up his pocket with money. And living for purpose and purposely living is having a goal to achieve a wider sentiment to be able to impact much more as you live, not for self, for others. For others. It doesn't have to be as impactful as I am. It doesn't have to be as broad as I paint my brush. But as long as you can have an impact on just one individual, you have impacted the world. Because I can't save them all. But those who I have saved, I am proud to say I have started to change the trajectory of my community. I've started to change the minds of the people. We're going to come up with a little film to show what I do every day. I just had some friends went to do around. My friend came back and he said, Karen, I give you my crown. He said, I give you my crown. And everybody I spoke to, they said the same thing. And I don't go with them. The reason why I don't want people to feel that, because she did it, you must say. No, they speak so because my love is genuine to them. I love them people. Everybody could reject them, but there's minds. They're mine. And I hope that this podcast has brought some light to others in our community and who has been on this podcast to understand that the plight in the Virgin Islands is serious. And if we as a people don't get together and jump on this train as it look to pull out the station, we're going to be left behind. And
True.
we're not going to have a place to call our own anymore. Because when we start to talk about the grappling of land, there's nothing for us to stand on. So there's no fight to have. When we talk about our kids, and we can't respect them so they can have the basic as such as an education, then we're doomed. And when we neglect our elderly, who provide the history for us to continue, then we're saddened. People of the Virgin Islands, either you want to right this ship or you want to ride the ship, and the ship is sinking. Either we gonna come for resolution or we gonna come for resolution, revolution. And I say this with all my heart and all my muster. I do this for the people I serve. But I will be damned if I live in my home and I get extinct in my own home because my own has extinct me.
Mm. Lovely.
Not Karen,
Lovely.
not me,
Lovely.
not me. I am not moving forward for no political position. No, let me say that clear, and I say that all the time. All I am moving for is for fear. Fair for all of us. Let's be fair among all of us. Let us do better as a people. Let us do better for one another. Let us treat each other in kindness and harmony and respect. Let us come together for the savior of these fortunate islands. As we're being extinct and we're being pushed out, not by nobody else, but our own.
Well, Miss Karen, I really appreciate, like I told you this before on the phone. Um, when I see your passion and I hear you speak and I see how much you care, makes a person like me feel like I have a home. I get to talk how I need to talk, express how I need to express, be passionate how I need to be passionate. It motivates me, it motivates people like Kai, you know what I mean? Because we two different people going towards the
Right,
same thing. You know what I mean? We
right.
want change. We want betterment. We want knowledgeable people that are aware and concerned. You know what I mean? Kyle came to
Of
me
course.
about this podcast and said, "Look, man, brother, we got to do something to educate our people." You know what I mean? We can't just be popular for no reason. We can't just have these people looking and tuning into us for nonsense only alone. We could do that, but we also have to educate and make aware. And I jump at
Of
the chance
course.
to be with him. This is my cousin, it's a person. Whether we on a camera or not, we're going back and forth about issues. We respect each other, so the disagreements don't mean nothing to us other than we see things differently, but we know we have the same goal. We want to get to a place where our children could flourish. We want people to come and visit and enjoy what we
Of
have,
course.
right?
Of
We do.
course.
But we want our people to also live in the things that where we are and enjoy living in the Virgin Islands.
Of
I
course.
remember 1993. I remember 95. I remember 89. I know how my Virgin Islands had looked when I was a youth.
Oh,
I know
yeah,
when me and
man.
Kyle used to walk from Lionel Robert Stadium to the village and back because they had events in both places during Carnival. I remember when our mother them were tramping in juvenile, we on the side yarning. I remember how free it was. I remember how fun it was. I remember when you could have go in any community and see 100 kids outside playing anything, being in the mischief. You know what I mean?
I
So
remember
I
when we had inter-island basketball. That's how I know some of my friends them in
right,
St. Thomas. I remember when we had Vika competition. Vika students used to stay Dicky and all of them. These is guys from St. Thomas that stayed to our home. And
right,
I would always keep a party during that time. The best party in St. Croix, because that's how you fostered friendship and camaraderie.
right,
And so we don't have that anymore. We don't have that. You can hardly get a government to buy the train them 2 tickets to go over St. Thomas to play a sport. You gotta be outside begging water, selling water. It shouldn't be.
right.
And then when our kids have to uproot and go away and become big now, we want to celebrate them when we didn't contribute to to their greatness.
Right. So I just
And so we
appreciate
have
you.
to
Go
do
ahead.
better. We have to invest in the thing that is investable, sports, your children. Jamaica, Bahamas, the Caribbean does that in their children. They invest in them, but we gonna invest in a football team who don't need our money to say we advertising what?
Right.
Some of the whole them, you stop by Pueblo up here by Ayo, Lockhart Garden, and you end up all the way down sub base. In Cinco, you're dropping a pothole up Eastern Point, you down, and you might end up down Salt River. That's how
Mm,
big the thing them is.
right.
And
So
so who do I want to invite to my home? I remember when I was going to college, man, the best thing could have happened was when Christmas time you say, hey, you want to come and visit my home? Yeah, man, you are excited. Because them time much people ain't know where the Virgin Island is. Now they're dropping you like fly. And so when you brought people home, you were excited. Just like when we used to come St. Thomas for Carnival. Everybody looking at a cruise and girl, just life, man.
mm,
This is what needs to be going on with these children. Not that you're looking to try to save your life to get an education and save it so a teacher could get a job when everybody going against you.
mm,
There is certain things that we enjoyed in the Virgin Islands that these kids will never experience
right.
because our leadership don't care. And so we could talk about a lot that made us Virgin Islanders, that meshed us, not just for now, but for generation. The rich history of the Virgin Island and the strongness of its people. But today we can't see that. And the more we say it, our kids can't see it because they have never felt it.
So, Miss
And so,
Karen,
Kyle Redman, I want to thank you guys for bringing me here. I want to thank the people who's looking on. And we going to work together to see how we can move this Virgin Island for a better place so I could get out the state and come back home to live.
definitely, that's in
how
the
we
plan.
could
That's the
how,
plan.
how, how we can move the Virgin Islands forward.
Yeah.
And
That's the
you say
plan.
from the inside out, sometimes it have got to be from the outside in. You
Right.
understand? Got the
Mhm.
inside done rocky. So what's left on the outside, we got to try save and salvage.
Mhm.
So I want to
Absolutely.
say thank you guys so much for giving me this opportunity, believing in what I speak, and believing in the work that I do. My work is continuous. Until I have met my goal for everybody who come through my door, my work will continue. I want to thank you guys so much. I want to thank you for bringing this podcast here so we can have the true message from Virgin Islanders, true Virgin Islanders who have no skin in the game and gonna call it as they see it. I
Definitely.
don't want to rub shoulder with nobody. I don't know nothing about crystal glass. I know about buttercup.
Mhm.
That when you wash it out, you get a cup, a red one with a handle. I know about sitting under the tree with the man. I know about
Hmm.
going down on the beach. I don't know about opulence and sitting up high while we continue to look down on ours.
Definitely.
And that's why I remain ground for those people, so that we can uplift our people, so they can have an understanding and stop being oppressed because of how they stigmatize and position they place you in. You're better than that. And for that, guys, I want to thank you so, so much. From the bottom of my heart and the people that I serve, the TCCI family, that's who I represent all the way.
Mhm.
Definitely,
Thank you
Mr.
so much.
You're welcome. You're
Thank you.
welcome. And again, this is we created this platform for people like yourself who are doers. We really want to inspire more people to do,
To do,
and it's not just talk. You could talk, but
do.
you have to be simultaneously doing.
Doing, of
So,
course.
so in your work, we commend you for all that you do. Some people
Thank
gonna just
you.
say you talk, but you do
How
as
to
well.
do?
So you could talk, and that's
Right,
my thing, you know. To me, you can't talk if you ain't doing.
right.
So if you want something to change in a certain situation, you get the power to change it. Well, change it. Let's do it.
Oh, you know we got more talkers than doers, right? And they go
Exactly,
always
and
know how you need to do it and not do it.
exactly.
Right.
So that's why I really grateful for you coming here, so you could inspire some
Mhm.
people attacking to
Yeah,
do.
Yeah.
You know.
stop talking and do, man.
Stop talking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I express the same sentiment as Kai. You know what I mean? We come from a family of doers. You know what I mean? Like, we raised by women. You know what I mean? And it's a can-do attitude. They ain't no trying, just get it done. And that's how
Hmm.
we da move. Sometimes we harsh, sometimes we caring, but we just want the work done. We want everything done how it need to be done. So I express the same sentiment of Kai. I want everybody to hit subscribe, share the link, you know what I mean, all over the wall. Hey, listen, I feel like you're a rock star. Where we from right now, you're a rock star. You know what I mean? Because
No.
it take a strong person to put their reputation on the line and deal with all the criticism and the underhandedness and the accusation
You know
in the
something?
face
Let
of
me say
power.
this, Redman. I worked for a program in DC that I worked with reentry citizens, prisoners. And my job was to ground you so that that crime that you committed was that crime.
Mhm.
Hmm.
My job was to prepare you to go on an interview and nail that job. That's what my job was. So these naysayers, hurt people hurt.
Mhm.
Hey.
That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Hurt people are hurt. And
Hmm.
when you can't live in your own purpose, then you can't find purpose for living.
Mhm.
Hey.
Another
Definitely.
So,
name. I saving all of
if,
them, you know.
Yeah, man. The
yeah,
first one was
so
ah shit. What the first one was something
they
about
want status
the
and they ain't
one
got
standing.
standing.
Yeah, the one status but they
Mhm.
ain't gonna stand there. I
Bad.
like that one
So
them is.
if it's Karen, are you worrying about? Continue to worry.
Right.
You guys continue. Because,
Right.
of course, you guys aren't even a thought on my radar. I got
Yeah.
bigger fish to fry. I don't deal with Sprat. We don't use
Oh.
Sprat to catch whales. That's what you don't do. Guys, have a good night.
You too.
Take
Thank you, Miss
care.
Karen. We really enjoyed having you on. We really enjoyed
Enjoy
this
being here with you guys too,
yeah,
man.
man. We
And
love
being
we
real. Being
yeah, we
real.
Definitely.
see that just being
Okay.
amongst the elder that care because sometimes in our generation and the youth that we don't feel like, what do these elders even care? We don't hear them with their voice, they quiet in the background, they ain't making no noise. And for me to see somebody like you beating that drum, they get other people who would have beat it as well. But to see you out there like that and not want nothing out of it other than just making sure that our people them good is really inspiring to me and a lot of other people. And I just really wanted, I've had conversations with you privately, and I really wanted the public to see that passion in life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And because when I first saw the dust up with you and Al Board, the how it's portrayed is that you're unin touch, you don't know nothing, you know what I mean? Not aware of what's going on. You were dismissed and made it to seem like you were just like a rambling person. And in talking
Mhm.
to you, the intelligence, the care, the passion, I really wanted the public to see that. I really wanted our viewers, our supporters to see that. And we don't mind anybody coming on and opposing what you have to say. but you
Of
have the
course,
courage to come
that's
and
what conversation is about. Everybody
that's
gonna
what
think the same way.
very much. That's what
You know what I'm
conversation is
saying?
about. So,
And so my skin very thick. Ain't
mhm,
nothing you could tell me. I know the truth of me. You know who you
mhm,
is, and kind of know who he is, right?
mhm,
People that
Okay.
talk to try to know who you are, and
mhm,
because
Mm-hmm.
they don't know themselves, they got to try not to try to find a space to make importance, so they could have some kind of semblance in their life. But guess
yes,
what? I don't need that. I am who I am. Either you take me or you leave me. I ain't looking no position and I ain't looking no likes. And I gonna
Mm-hmm.
continue to be who I am because we live in a world of differences.
Oh,
mhm.
oh,
Yes.
I said there. Well,
That's the
guys,
thing.
again, thank you guys for tuning in. Everyone that's here,
Yeah.
everyone that stopped out of the busy night to tune in and listen to this real conversation. We appreciate you
Mhm,
guys. We appreciate Miss Karen for gracing us with her time again. Man, super, super grateful. And we're gonna keep this fire
And
burning. Caribbean
yes.
currency.
Yes.
Like, subscribe, check us out, check out our latest episode, check out the episode before that. And we're gonna keep
Yeah.
good content like this coming and
Of
good
course.
conversations like these coming.
Of
Did you
course.
get to watch the episode with Robbie?
Yes.
Okay, did you
Nice.
how
Yes.
what was your people
That
giving
was
us that
nice.
kind
That
of
was
feedback? I can hear your
you
feedback.
know, I like real. I like real. People are who they are. I like
Yeah.
real. I ain't trying to position myself in a place. I like real.
Yeah.
Who
Mm-hmm.
you is. You
Yeah.
can't change that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't
Definitely.
change that. I like real because I work with challenged people and I just see a human being. I don't see your challenge because
Yeah.
all of us have a gem. All of us,
Mhm.
we all started the race the same.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We are. Who would have ever believed Cecile would have be such a nasty woman? Huh?
Mm.
Because she was a first lady. She was not a drug dealer,
Mm.
Hmm.
but because she was the first lady, you must ignore that.
Mm.
Hmm.
No, we ain't doing that. But guys, we could continue talking for the whole night. I want to say good night to you guys. Be good. Be
Thanks
safe.
again, Miss Karen. Love all the time.
Love alone, man.
All
Take
right. Take
care.
it easy. All
Call
right.
me
All
Bye.
right.
anytime. Thank you,
All right.
guys. Have a good rest. Bye bye.
Well, guys,